Welcome, everybody, to Saves Together, a podcast about playing games together, whether that means co-op or passing the controller back and forth or just playing the same game at the same time. It doesn't matter how, it only matters that it's together because...
If you save together, you stay together.
That's Grace Novak. I'm Craig McGowan. This is episode 25, which that feels like a milestone.
It's of some sort, a quarterly milestone.
It's a quarterly milestone, except it's a year.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we
even
do
if
25
it was,
in a year, basically.
but then even if it was, it's not really quarterly in any way, except for out of 100, which is not any type of...
It's a quarterly out of 4 years.
Nice. Go us. And today we're talking about Monster Hunter Worlds. Worlds.
Oh, I think it's Worlds.
I think it's World. Because there's only one world. It's not like you go to multiple worlds.
Let me do a check on that one. Monster. You're right. It is Monster Hunter World.
Ha, that makes sense because, like I said, there's really only one world. And if you look at the
Right.
map, it's all one island. So if they called it Worlds, I'd probably complain about that.
Right, you'd be like, where's the other worlds?
Yeah. Like Border Worlds. The
What?
potential Borderlands 3.
They're calling it Border Worlds?
I mean, at the end of 2, they show a map full of planets.
Border space.
But it's not the space that you're going to be in. It's the world.
Planets.
Border planets.
Yeah, but you have to get to the planet somehow. It's like No Man's Sky plus Borderlands combined.
Ooh, that sounds better than both of those games.
There you go.
But before we talk about Monster Hunter World, what have you been playing in your spare time, in your free time? We need to come up with a word for that, like in your solo.
What's wrong with what have you been playing?
In your YOLO solo.
In your YOLO time.
Yeah, in your YOLO solo time.
Well,
I know. When you're... Hold on, I'm trying to work Han Solo into this.
No, I don't think we should. This isn't a Star Wars
so,
podcast. It's a
what,
gaming.
how's the ship flying, Captain Solo?
I don't want to...
No.
How's the shit flying?
Ship. There's no shit flying, unless you're using the Doodle launcher, which we'll get to when we talk about Monster Hunter World.
It's a dung pod.
Doodle launcher.
So I'm playing Hollow Knight, for one.
Okay, that's like a splatformer-y...
On the Switch. It's not Splatformer. It's a platformer, sort of challenging action game. A little bit of Dark Souls, a little bit of, Metroidvania. It's really good. I mean, I'm not usually the kind of person that would ever reach for either something very hard or something Metroidvania. So, actually, my brother bought this for me for Christmas, and I was like, okay, because he loved it. And actually, I'm really liking it. I think it's really fun. The more I play, the more engaged I am, because you get different powers as you go along, and that really keeps you going, because you're like, oh, I wonder what I'll get next. It's exciting. It is a little spooky, though. I get a little scared.
What kind of things are you getting next?
Like I just got the ability to double jump, so that's very exciting. I think
Whoa, really?
I mean, you can kind of sense from the map like where you can't go, and you're like, I bet I get something that makes me jump higher, or something to cut through this like obstacle that I keep seeing. So you assume like, okay, I'm gonna get that somewhere, and then I can come back to this. That's Metroidvania, though, right? I don't know.
My woe really was to the fact that the double jump. You feel like you've been playing that game for a while, and you just now got a double jump.
Well, there's a lot of movement ability as far as wall jumping, so you can still jump pretty high if you have walls to jump on. But if there's no wall to jump on, that's where this double jump will come in handy.
Cool.
And I've also been playing. I got back to Assassin's Creed Odyssey because I was trying to see if I could beat the story. I'm waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3. That's like my big game right now that I'm excited for. So it's still a couple more weeks. Oh, pretty soon though, right? 29th. That's like 2 weeks.
Assassin's
God, I'm
Creed.
so excited.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is kind of like your friend in high school that when they get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, they stop talking to you.
Yeah.
But then they come back when they get dumped or they dump.
Oh my God.
Because you left Assassin's Creed for Red Dead and Smash.
Actually, I left it for Dragon Quest.
Yeah,
see? So it's
you
been
left
a
it for
long
a long
time.
And now you're gonna leave it again when Kingdom Hearts comes out.
Basically. Well, I was hoping I could try to get close, but that game is just so long. And it's fun, but it's not like Kingdom Hearts 3 exciting. So yeah, I will leave it again most likely. But then I'll come back when I'm done with that. It's a game I can always return to.
How have you found returning to it? Is it simple to get back into? Does it still make sense, or are you like lost? Are you lost in the plot and the game controls?
No, it makes sense. It took me a hot minute to get used to the game controls again. But then I was like, I get it, and it's fine. I mean, the game isn't anything super special as far as the combat to me. It's more like something I have to get through because I enjoy the exploring much more than the combat. And I like the sniping with my bow and arrow.
Nice. I want to ask now before you play Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Because I'm sure we'll talk about Kingdom Hearts later.
Oh,
But before you play it, what are you looking forward to with Kingdom Hearts? What do you want out of this?
I really love the Disney thing because I'm a big Disney fan. So I just love the interacting with Disney characters, and I like the different kinds of combat you can do based around that. So you get like new keyblades and new attacks based around going to these new places. I don't know. The combat is really fun in Kingdom Hearts. It's not necessarily challenging all the time, especially in the later games, but it can be very exciting to watch, very flashy.
Here's what's important to me about Kingdom Hearts. The only thing I played of Kingdom Hearts ever was about 4 hours of Dream Drop distance because you could grind on rails. Is the grinding on rails part of the game?
Not really, but it looks like for this one, there may be some sort of movement in that way. I can't really tell. I don't know. Not exactly. Not as much as in Dream Drop Distance. That was a big thing with that one. That was like the gimmick of that game.
That was like, really?
I mean,
I thought it didn't even seem like necessary. It just seemed like you could.
The reason you could is because you're in a dream. So I think it was like following the dream logic gave you the ability to go anywhere in like that.
You know, in my dreams, I have soap shoes on all the time as well.
So it makes sense to you.
What have I been playing? Ace Combat 7. Now, I said that as if I've played these games before. I said that like, oh, of course I'm playing this airplane game. But this is my first time ever playing this game. And I actually like it a lot. I started the game. I'm playing on easy.
I decided very intense when you're playing it.
Yeah, it's intense.
But good for you for playing
But it
on
wasn't
easy.
intense at first because I'm playing it on easy because I don't care and I just want to experience it. And I've grown up. I've become a master gamer.
You're a man now.
And I became willing to not care what anybody thinks, and I'm just gonna play easy on things I don't. You know what I mean? Like Anthem, I'll probably play on normal because I'm excited about Anthem or whatever. But this, I just want to see what it is.
Right.
So I'm playing it on easy mode and beginner controls, and I'm like, this game's all right, I guess, but it doesn't. I don't think it doesn't control that well. So I beat the first mission on beginner controls. Then I go in the settings and I see expert controls. And I think to myself, I'm an expert. So I turn them on and it makes the game way better. It makes the game incredible and they shouldn't even have the beginner controls in there. Basically, it gives you the option to roll your plane left and right and upside down and stuff.
Do a barrel roll?
Yes, which is crucial to that's crucial to plane flying. Like, you have to turn your plane sideways and pull left and right to turn sharp. Like, come on.
Is that crucial to plane
yes!
flying?
Anyone out there that's listening to this, all you pilots flying.
I would be really scared if I was in a plane and all of a sudden we all just turned sideways.
Not like commercial airlines, but like fighter jets. But what I like about it is it feels kind of like old flight sims. Like, it's not a simulator game, which I don't want it to be, but it feels like X-Wing, those X-Wing games. And like, I used to play a lot of those, Free Space, stuff like that. And I'm also we're playing Travis Touchdown Returns again. What's it called?
Travis Touchdown.
Nope.
Strikes Back.
Travis Strikes Again. And then there's a game inside the game called Travis Strikes Back.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we just started last night. We played the first level.
I like it. And I'm excited to do an episode about it.
Me too.
But let's do an episode about Monster Hunter Worlds instead.
Yeah, let's do it.
World, not worlds. Developed by Capcom and published by Capcom as well, Monster Hunter World came out for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One January of last year, January 26, 2018, and then most recently Windows in August of 2018. But we're late to the party. We didn't play it until the beginning of this year, 2019. We got it on sale on Black Friday, and I was very excited about it, but was trepidatious going in.
Me too. I was also trepidatious going in because I have not played any Monster Hunter games, and any experience I had with them, I think there was one on the 3DS. I played the demo. I was like, this game is clunky and not fun.
Yeah.
And hard, and I hate it.
I had played Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP, and I gave it a good fair shake, but I know I was playing solo, so I was disadvantaged, but it was not approachable in any way. It was impenetrable to me.
I do think it makes it a lot more accessible when it's co-op.
Yes. Yeah.
So if I would say, like, I mean, this will go into my review later, but if you want to give this a shot, but you're worried, I would go into this with somebody else. It's a lot more helpful. Even if they've already played the game, it'd be fun for them like start a new character. I think it's a lot easier to get into the flow when you have someone else like backing you up.
Yeah. The genre it's a Monster Hunter game. It is an action game where the animations are deliberate and you're locked into an animation and you're hunting with big swords, bigger dragons, and big monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this genre, for being as niche as it is, it's kind of like everyone knows it.
It's a mainstay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to play it, and you probably haven't. Most people probably haven't. But
it has a very dedicated community.
Yeah.
And it's its own thing, for sure. There's nothing else like Monster Hunter. I mean, it's
There's
a boss
clones.
battle kind of game, so there are other games like that, but there's clones and games that have tried to model after it, but I think it's its own thing.
I remember having the PlayStation 2 magazine and like seeing this game, and I was so goddamn excited for it as a 2-year-old. Well, 12 or something. Like whenever it came out, 2000, I would say like 2004 or 2002. And it just like blew my mind. Like, you carve the monster and then make the weapons from the monster. That's cool, but I never played it. I wouldn't have liked it. I'll tell you that. As a kid.
When you were 12? Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so let's get into the co-op factors. What is the type of co-op?
It is online only. There is no local or couch co-op.
Right.
So going in, this actually stopped us, mainly me, from playing this for a while because I was like, I don't want to buy 2 copies. And I also didn't have PS Plus at the time, so now I'm signed up for a year of PS Plus because I never really been interested in playing online games, but I really wanted to play this. I was like, all right, let's just do it. Let's get 2 copies and do the thing. And also we set up a little station situation. If you go on our Instagram at Saves Together, there's a picture of it on there.
Yeah.
We moved another monitor that he had on his desk to like the coffee table, and we play it side by side, sort of like,
It's essentially couch co-op.
We made it couch co-op, but
you have 2 consoles, 2 monitors. Too.
Yeah, we have our own screens, which makes it easier. Obviously, it's necessary.
That monitor that we're using is a TV that I've had for like over 10 years now, and I would bring that and a console to friends' houses for like Borderlands.
It's such a bro. It's such a bro of a monitor.
I just think it's like a LAN party thing. It's not really like there's some douchey vibes to it, I didn't think.
I meant like that monitor is like a good friend.
Oh, I thought you were saying only bro gamers like Halo guys.
No, I meant like, wow, it served you so well for so long at this point.
I'm very surprised. It's also a Dynex, which is Best Buy's cheap brand.
The picture looks very good on it too. For some reason, every time I look at it, I'm like, wow, that actually looks really nice. Like,
it's small, so that's part of it.
Yeah, it makes things more clear. But
okay, so how does the game control? What is the control scheme? Is there any weird things to it?
PS4 controllers, your basic, no shaking, nothing.
No shaking, no touching on the touchpad. I mean, you use the touchpad as a button, which is the way that thing should just be used.
But it's pretty basic.
Yeah. Shared loot or XP?
Absolutely not. Wait.
So I don't know.
Nothing
because
is shared.
Nothing is shared like, we both got it. If you cleave something off of a monster and a part flies off, like its tail or sometimes this little orb that just says part comes off. If I pick it up, you still can go pick it up, right?
Right. Most of the time.
But also, do we see it both on each screens? You know what I'm saying?
We're still curious about that. I mean, you can see the tail on each screen, and you can everyone can carve the body and get the same amount of materials, but not necessarily the same materials.
Right.
Seems like that's kind of random. And at the end, you get rewards after the quest is over, and then you also get some items then. So it's not shared, but everyone can get their own loot. It's not like World of Warcraft where it's like we're all looting and in competition for it. There's no competition as far as that. And I think if there was, it would be a lot less fun and more like... But you also can't trade materials, which is interesting. You can't trade monster materials. So if you need something for a sword, you have to get it for yourself. Your friend can't, but I got this material, I'll give it to you. They can't do that, which is an interesting choice. I wonder why they chose to do it that way.
I think you can trade like weird smaller.
Yeah, you can trade like potions and stuff.
But can you also trade like monster bone S?
I don't know. I don't think you can trade anything that can be used as a material, but I might be wrong. I just know it's definitely no like Ogdorin Claw. That's the name of a monster.
That would be fun because I would like to farm some days, like especially like a day that you can't play. like I kind of wish I could go farm some stuff and then just give you half of what I got.
Right.
You know?
Because we don't want one of us to get like way ahead of the other. So, and also we just try to play co-op games all the time together and not like kind of go back and forth, where that might be in a way that other people play this game. You know what I mean?
True,
That's
yeah.
probably a more normal way.
You
But-
might, if your friend is busy, you may like level up. There are no levels. There's just, but you may get the materials to build better stuff and then kind of surpass them. Though, I guess it's not really a problem because you'll just help them kill the things they need to get faster.
Right. Yeah,
So-
that's true.
There's really kind of no downside to not playing solo in your spare time, but I just wish, I don't know. We're trying to stay even.
Right. Right. And experience it together for the sake of the podcast.
Yeah. And something that's not shared at all, the doodles. You have to like find these like hieroglyphics or whatever that like are being drawn by these native cats.
Grimmekins.
Grimmekins.
Grimmekins and Tail Raiders
If I feel like the Tail Raiders
are the name of the Grimmelkin groups.
Yeah,
Yes,
right? Okay.
right.
Weird. But we were running around a zone and we're supposed to find these doodles together. You can go on expeditions, which is just you go in the open world and like you don't have a specific mission. And she's finding all her doodles and I'm like, I can't find any of these things. And I spent like 30 minutes looking for them. And then I went in my solo one and I found them pretty quickly.
Yeah,
So
that's
I think,
been one of the most frustrating parts of the game for us.
yeah, we'll touch on that later probably, of just how weird the co-op is segregated almost. Like it's like not really sectioned off, but it is. I don't know. There's too many
Right.
gates to get through, and one of them being like not knowing what items will show up when we're expeditioning together. Like these doodles won't apparently. You know, I don't know. Very weird. Friendly fire.
No.
Can you hurt each other in any way?
Definitely not. I think you can hit each other possibly and interrupt each other with
Mhm.
certain attacks, but not like do damage. You can't do damage.
If I blew up a barrel though,
Yeah,
might.
sure. I mean, I would say that's like pretty incidental friendly fire sort
Yeah,
of thing where it's
right.
like you need an item to do it, but you can't hit each other directly. I mean, you can, but it does not do damage. Your swords can cling off of each other, which is interesting.
Yeah. So we'll touch on the interruptive actions section. Lots of them. You can really interrupt each other in a
Mhm.
way, like your swords bouncing off each other, like we said. Or there is actually a mechanic where if I'm dizzy, I've been stunned, you can come over and smack me with your shield.
And
So,
help
like,
to help.
That's actually not interruptive necessarily. I guess by definition it is, but that's actually a useful thing. But there's other things like if you hit a pod of poison, there's like these plants that are growing everywhere. Like you'll poison me, or like if you throw a flash bomb and don't tell me. Wait, would that hit me?
No, flash bombs don't work on each
Okay.
other. Flash pods. But the poison plants are part of the environment, so
Right.
that's more of like,
Incidental again.
yeah, just starting environmental things.
Is it a separate mode or full? Let's talk about it now.
It's a little bit of both.
The weird gatedness.
In the in the original story mode, basically up until a certain point, like Hunter rank 8 or something, up until you drive away one of the first Elder Dragons, you have
But-
to go through this process of seeing the cutscenes in each story mission separately before you can join each other's story mission. And that doesn't take too long. It can take like 4 to 5 minutes. It just really depends on the quest. It's just it's a strange thing.
But we ran into it after that too, though.
It seems less likely to happen.
like
It
the
looks like a little
yeah.
bit less.
It's the assigned missions, really, right?
Not always.
But not all of them.
It
And,
looks like
yeah,
it's specifically for encountering new monsters.
weird. You have to like see their entrance video.
And you can't go on story-related expeditions together, which there
Yeah.
aren't too many, but when basically every time you go to a new area, the first time, you can't work together in this way at all.
I think the running theory is that the game is rendering those cutscenes in real time in the engine, and I'm standing there, like in my game, and so you can't also be standing there in my game, or else we'd be clipping through each other, and they just didn't do the work to make it so it could have two people.
To be honest, when I heard about this a while ago, I thought it would bother me a lot more than it actually does.
Right.
It actually doesn't, it really doesn't feel like it takes that long. And one of us, yeah, I don't know. It honestly doesn't bother me
It
that
does
much.
I feel it requires good communication though, because if you were trying to do this with someone
online, like they were far away.
online,
Yeah, that's true.
we're right next to each other, so I can say, when you see your video, just leave and I'll join or
That
whatever.
does help. That does help. That we're actually like, this is the couch co-op mode of that.
Yeah.
We can see each other's screens, and so can kind of tell when we can jump in immediately. And so there's not a lot of waiting around like there would be maybe if you were just online.
Right, because we were playing with someone on Discord and just getting them to kind of understand. It's not like they didn't get it, but like just saying like, you'll have to play until it says fire your flare, but they don't know what that means because they haven't played yet. And like, I mean, I guess that's just because they're beginner in that reasoning.
Right.
But it is kind of strange. But I would have tried to figure out how to make that not be how it is.
Right. But, you know, once you get into the post game, which we're ish kind of in, not really, we're still basically we've gotten so far as hunter rank to the high rank missions, and we're just starting to search out new elder dragons. If you know the game, that's like a little bit after the first part of the story. So we're still getting into the post story. We're not really there yet.
Yeah, I think that this game is meant for this section, right? Like
right.
The game is meant for the post game.
For the co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but it's nice that it still lets us do the story missions in co-op, because it wouldn't have been that fun to not be able to do that. We wouldn't have played it, honestly. We wouldn't have gone through hours and hours and hours. How many hours you said? 56 we're at?
We're at 54 hours.
54 hours of the game. And we may come back to this. We're going to keep playing after the podcast. Like, usually we come to this and do podcasts after we're done. We may revisit the game in another episode.
Yeah, I think this is a part 1.
Yeah, because I think there may be even more. I know there's a lot more to explore when it comes to the post game. We also want to try playing this with a full group of people. I mean, we have with like randos, but people we know.
Right. Progression, things to unlock.
Only in the case of yes. I mean, there's a lot of things to unlock.
Yeah, I would say that's the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, besides the obvious of stating like you're unlocking weapons and armor by killing monsters and then forging these, like, you know, by your choice, you can choose what you'd like to create, and that's how you level up basically. There's also just features of like your main hub that you sort of live in when you're not playing cooperatively or with other people, where you like, okay, you have a tree where you can cultivate materials, so you can just like grow those there and then get them. And then there's a ton of little things you can do to help you get materials even faster, basically.
Yeah, and also you get a really dope house.
And a pig.
And a pig.
The Poogie.
Oh, Poogie. The game of the year.
Yeah.
Last year.
The Poogie is very cute.
Playing with random people online.
We've done it.
Yeah.
This is like one of the first times we've actually done the thing.
We have this category in our factors, and we never do it, but yeah, we've done it.
And it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, what we do is we start our mission together, we fire our flare, and we hang out at the camp.
We've only really just started doing that, though.
Right.
Or we would do the expeditions and let people join, which is one of those, like, just explore the world, and you don't have a time limit. You can kill monsters as long as you want. And we would just let people join and just, like, have them help us grind out materials. But we just started doing this thing where we'll start a quest, which does have a time limit, and invite random people to join, and we can just get it done faster. It's easier that way.
Yeah, and also the people that would join us in the expeditions, at least, were like really good and really high level, so they would kind of know the breeding grounds, or what, like the spawn point. They would go kill this guy, then run to the spawn point of the next guy, then kill him, then run back to the spawn point of the next guy and kill him. And we just went back and forth between Ogdragon and Legina or somebody. Like, it's probably not Legina.
It's not.
Okay, here's something I want to say about this game. Almost all the names of the things I say wrong.
Oh, yeah, and we started doing it as a joke, but now it's just stuck. Where certain monsters, we're just calling them things that they are not called, but like, to us, that's their name.
Yeah.
Because some of them are, the way they look like they pronounce it, it's a little difficult. It's not always super easy.
Like Legina. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Legina?
I said Legina as a joke.
I thought that's his name. Also, the Doodle launcher, or like...
There's a dung pod you can fire at monsters to make them run away. So in the case like you're hunting one and another one just comes to try to break up the party, you can fire dung and it will be like, ew, gross, and run away. But we just call it doo-doo launcher. You have like a slinger, which is just a crossbow type thing on your arm that you have to find stones. It's like almost like a slingshot, I guess, more. You can find stones in the world and you can use that to just annoy monsters, but you can also load other stuff into it. So you've got your doo-doo launchers, you got your lightning launchers, you got your flash pods,
flash bangers.
None of those are accurate words.
I'm never gonna remember the names because
there's a lot of stuff, and the monsters all have just like, I don't know, crazy names.
Yeah, But the one thing I will say about playing with these people online, let's say you fire your Doodle launcher, it tells you over on the side, like a chat, it says like Peabody Spellsmo, that's me, fired his Doodle launcher. Or it says, I'm firing my Doodle launcher, okay? But then if someone from Germany or Japan or China or someplace joins you, it says the same thing because it's an auto response, but it says it in their language. So it's like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, if a Japanese person fires their dong pod, same thing, like you're saying, it will be in Japanese on the side of your screen. So if you can't read Japanese, you're like, did they mount it? What happened? I don't know.
It tells you that information for a lot of stuff. And granted,
it should be helpful, and in an English case that we could read, it is helpful, but
it's not necessary though, which is cool.
It's not. We never really suffer and lose because of it, but it's still like, why wouldn't the game translate it to the language that you're currently operating off of your PS4?
Right.
Like I really don't get that.
Obviously, the ones that are entered in manually,
right?
No, those totally get it. But these ones are auto responses.
Yeah, it's really weird.
You can change the auto response, so that could be part of it. Like you can make it say custom stuff when you mount.
I have a feeling that's not though. Like because every single time it's been, and that's the case.
I'm just saying maybe they were like, it's not worth trying to translate those specific ones because people are just gonna change them. Which I kind of want to go change mine. What's a good one for? I fired my Doodle launcher.
There you go.
For mounting, how about like yeehaw cowboy? Something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
How about what are the other ones you got? Trap set.
I'm being stunned.
Okay, that'll just be.
I don't like that.
The difficulty of the co-op.
The game is difficult in general. I think that's like a sort of part of this genre, this
like
Monster Hunter
quantity.
franchise. Yeah, it's not a button masher. It's extremely deliberate. So every weapon has its own style of play. So you need to learn the style and then use it to your advantage based on the monster. And every monster has like a different way you need to kill it. So it's difficult, but the co-op, I think, makes it a lot easier because if one of us is attacking the monster drawing aggro, the other can run away, go get a potion, sharpen their weapon. It makes it a lot easier so you're not constantly getting ganked by the monster, like by yourself.
Yeah, I would not enjoy this solo.
Yeah, I think it's a great co-op experience and makes it a lot easier especially for newer players who aren't used to the way the game is played or the difficulty.
How about the competitiveness?
Not so much. I mean, like, we share deaths also, just to say, if each of us collectively die 3 times.
That changes though, doesn't it, between missions? But generally it's 3.
For story missions, it's usually 3. Then the mission's over, we lose. So if he dies 3 times, I die 0, the mission's over. If I die 1, he dies 2, the mission's over.
If I die 0, you die 3.
Right. I'm just saying, so there is a competitiveness factor a little bit in that, but not really, because all the loot is our own. We're just trying to booster ourselves to help each other. It doesn't feel very competitive.
There are the superlatives at the end.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of more like a shouts out kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll be like most slingers stuck or most buffs applied.
Most mounted, you mounted the monster this many times, more than anybody
Which
else.
I like because it's always positive. It's never like, this guy sucked.
Like, this guy died so many times.
Most deaths, sucker.
But yeah, mostly it's not competitive and you just feel like, I want to get better so that we can take down monsters faster together.
It feels, it's like satisfying when you're both, or 4 of you, or however many people are playing, actively killing this thing to get, like, it's like, yo, we are hunting together.
It's a great co-op game, for sure.
Like, I'll be in the air swinging flippy spinny, and like you're just on the ground like shing 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 shing, and I don't know. I wish that there was like replays or something, because it would be fun to go back and just like take frames of just like you stabbing a dude in the heart and me like coming down with a spiky.
It is really hard to get like a good action photo.
Yeah,
because it's co-op online. Obviously, you can't pause. You cannot pause.
Yeah. What weapon are you using?
I'm using a sword and shield, and I've also tried the bow and arrow, and I may go back to that, but for now, I'm good with my sword and shield, which is a sort of a basic weapon.
Yeah, and I'm using the insect glaive because I like to do flips and stunts.
Yeah, and use this insect to like tag the monster. That one's a lot more complicated than mine.
But I like it. It's the right level of complicated because I tried the hunting horn just to see what it is. No, not gonna do that.
Right.
But I also tried the katana, which I will switch to eventually.
There's like about 15, 20 different weapons.
I don't know, the number 16 maybe?
Yeah, there's a good amount. So there's a lot of options. It's really, it's cool because it feels like every weapon you use is almost like a different game in some ways. It's a totally different play style. So it can if you get bored of something, you can totally switch it up, and then it's like a whole other game in some ways.
Yeah, like they have such drastically different strategies. Like the big ass classic Monster Hunter sword that everybody thinks of, I feel like that has a blocking capability and a tackle, which like if a monster's charging at you, you could tackle them, and it goes through the monster and knocks them down. Like it blocks the monster's attack, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's really
cool.
But
then like, you have your swings and your smacks with that thing. But then with your sword and your shield, like what is that thing's like gimmick?
I think mine is all about staying mobile, but also being defensive and close-up offensive. So I can easily roll out of the way, but I also have a shield. So I have a lot of options. It's a more flexible play style. And also there's like some cool jump attacks that you can do. So it feels like a good one to start out with because it's not super complex and it's not super specific.
Yeah, and like the insect glaive is like a wuxia, like Chinese, like use it to pole vault yourself in the air and then just like
a lot of air attacks.
Spin like a dishwasher or something, or like a laundry machine. It's just like, but only when you're red buffed because you have your bug friend that you have to target specific areas of the monster,
the weak points,
to go get you a buff. Well, it depends what you hit.
Okay,
if you hit the other stuff, you get white, which is movement. If you get the other thing, it's orange, which I think is
kind of reminds me of Shulk
special
from Super Smash Brothers and or Xenoblade.
And it's the right level of complicated, but not like I think I just said that, but. It's cool because it's like, hold on, I have to stop and get, like, there's moments in the middle of fights where I'm only trying to get my red buff because it's almost not worth using that weapon if you're not red, because he does so many more. It's the difference between like 1 slash and 50 slashes, like when you swing your weapon. And then like the katana has a cool like building
thing,
meter to build to a super attack.
Reminds me of Cloud from Super Smash Brothers. Is this game based on Super Smash Brothers?
And the bow had like, what was the deal with those rocks though that you were shooting?
I could fire like a barrel of rocks in the air, and then it was an arc shot, and then it would like stun. It would do a lot of damage from on top of the monster, like a lot of small damage all at once. So yeah, there's a lot of various play styles. It's cool.
Strategy and tactics.
A lot.
Yes.
But also not too much.
It's not intense strategy and tactics, but it's not demanded. It's required. It's required strategy and tactics.
You need to be focused.
You have to plan your kit. You have to know what you're bringing. You have to know the armor you're bringing. You have to know the weapon you're bringing. You have to know the items you're bringing.
And right, because
you have to know what you're fighting, where to hit it.
Right. Every monster has its own element. Not all of them, but a lot of them have elements that if you're wearing the wrong armor, you can be destroyed very quickly. So you need to have, you need to do your research before you go in, which you gain as the game goes on.
Yeah, and then even in the middle of combat, you'll be like, all right, I have to roll back and sharpen my weapon. You were saying that before. Like, I have to go heal up or whatever,
So, yeah, there's definitely strategy in that way.
Something that's great is the palicos. If you're playing one player or two player, you get a pet cat that helps you fight, and it gives you buffs. Like, you can tell it to get you health, or it's like a setting. It's like armor that you bring.
It has a tool on it.
It could be lightning stuff to blind and confuse the enemy. It can be health stuff. It can be, what are the other ones?
There's a shield. That's the one I'm using. So it draws aggro. So if I'm in a jam, then it can like just quickly get the monster away from me.
So almost in a way, I hate when we have just 3 people. When we have 4 people in a battle, it's like, okay, that evens it out. But when we have 3 people,
you lose your cats.
We lose our 2 cats, so we're kind of down a guy.
And you don't have that tool. And that can be like really life-saving a lot of times.
Yeah, I use the health one a lot because I'm a noob.
What are they called?
Vigor wasps.
Yeah, vigor wasps.
It's these like gross mosquito bugs that just have sacks of health.
Yeah.
I don't really understand lore-wise. Why would that bug heal me?
I don't know.
Magic.
He's got vigor in him.
So how do you feel about Monster Hunter World?
So far, I really love it. It's always fun. This is we were worried after Divinity, thinking, oh, are we ever going to find a co-op game that can keep us, that we love so much? Because we had a couple stinkers. Not stinkers, but not Divinity. So yeah, this has been one of those games where every day after work, we're playing it together because we're really excited.
On that note, though, I find it hard to play when you're tired.
It is,
It's a demanding game. And
it's not chill.
It is not chill. Because there would be times like, I want to play. Mentally, I'm like, I want to play Monster Hunter. But then like just physically, like, I need eye drops because I'm staring at the screen too much.
Yeah.
I find myself pulling away from the screen and blinking more than I ever have in games before. Like, I don't usually do that, but I find
Interesting.
myself doing that here. I was like, I need to get some eye drops for this
I have
damn
eye
thing.
drops here, by the way.
Give me them. I need them part of my
I didn't
kit.
know. You never said. Yeah, I mean, put your eye drops in. It is not a chill co-op game, so that's a factor to consider when going in. Like, do you want something chill to play with somebody? This is not what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Neither was Divinity.
But Divinity
really.
was because
it
you
kind
could
of was. 'Cause
slow
you could
down.
Stop. You could pause. You cannot pause in this game. There's literally no pausing. You need to go to the bathroom. Too fucking bad. Like you're in the middle of a monster fight.
I think that this game is the perfect balance between the obfuscation of the old ones and the accessibility that they needed.
Yes,
right? Like,
absolutely.
This game, there's still some weird stuff, and it takes a while to figure out your weapon, and
it's
I love it.
still slightly intimidating from the outside.
But then it has stuff like the auto crafting. Like if you have it set, every time I pick up an herb and a honey, automatically make me a potion.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason not to just make me a potion. So you can set it to do that, which is cool. It has 2 sticks, which was a major problem on the 3DS demo you played. On the PSP version I played, you need camera controls, man.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's such a huge thing because I'm always trying to, no matter what I'm doing, I'm making sure the camera's on the monster because I need to keep him in my sights.
And I know that there was lock-ons and you used, you could play with the claw on the PSP where you did have camera control. I know that, but you know what I mean. Modern, a stick camera.
Better feeling, easier for your hands to do it.
There are multiple camps in the maps. The maps are not segregated into sections with loading screens. It's all one big map.
Yeah, it's nice.
You can fast travel between those camps. You can eat at the camp, which you used to have to remember to eat before you went out. The scout flies versus the paintballs. It used to be you'd throw a paintball at a monster, and that's kind of how you track it. But now we have the scout flies. However, scout flies are fucking stupid sometimes.
Yeah, but it's better than nothing.
I like that it's auto, and you don't have to remember to bring a paintball and throw a paintball, because that feels like what gameplay am I getting out of this? Like, what is the core mechanic of like, why wouldn't I throw a paintball? So then it should just be auto paintballed. You know what I mean?
Right. I think they just taken out a lot of the unnecessarily harder, more tedious gameplay, kept the difficulty of the monster hunting, but so it made it more fun.
Maybe. I don't know if we didn't play the other ones enough.
But I think it's still difficult.
Yes.
You know, the monsters hit you 3 times in a row, you're dead. So you cannot be getting hit by the monster a ton of times. You need to be not being hit, essentially. Walking
while drinking your potions is big, and the infinite whetstone is big. Yeah. And these are all the things that take away the tedium. And I really like it. And I kind of...
So what's your current score?
Well, we're not doing scores anymore, man. Remember?
That's right. This is new.
We had a meeting.
To introduce this.
We had a production meeting.
Yeah, right.
And we said,
it's a fancy way to say what we did.
We always talk about these scores, and we mention it's like the scores in Whose Line, they're unrelated and blah, blah, blah. We were just doing that for fun, like it was never a serious thing. But we decided, after doing Game of the Year where we had our SS rank, or we just had S rank, right?
We just had S rank.
Yeah. We're going to just do letter ranks to these games, and then they will sort of fall into a tier system. And now, again, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily better than each other, but it does just kind of...
For us, the Saves Together podcast, they're stack ranked in that way.
Right now, and this is not its final... we're going to do triple S, double S, S, A, B, C, D, F.
Okay.
The standard kind of...
Standard, like elementary school, high school, but adding S's.
The standard, like, Japanese...
What?
Like, game...
Yes,
You've experienced this system.
Sonic. Honestly, the only time I've experienced it was really with Sonic, but also other Japanese games. Rhythm games have it too.
Yeah. Right now, currently, I'm giving it a double S.
Not a triple S.
Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Sorry, yes. Double S. Well, the only reason I'm holding back from triple S is because, like, what if something happens towards the end here? Mm-hmm. But I guess I don't need it. Right now, it's a triple S to me.
Okay. I'm going to give it a double S plus.
Oh, yeah, we have a plus also. Which... Now, I thought the plus was supposed to be our...
You're right.
We're giving it a rank. We were talking about we're going to give it a rank together.
Okay.
We don't have our personal rank.
You're right. So
right now,
I agree.
Yeah.
Triple S. I think you're right. Right now, it's a very good game. The fact that we always want to play it every day, that's enough for me to give it a triple S, basically.
And the fact that, like you said about the Divinity thing, like it replaced that emptiness.
The sadness inside of not having a good co-op game. It's great. It's a great game, and we're going to keep playing it, and we will,
we'll
come back and report
based
on our final final thoughts, because we want to do post-game stuff first. It's a long game. It will take you a long time to get through, but it's worth it. So I think you should try it if you're like, oh, I'm nervous, but you have someone who wants to play with you. I think it's worth doing.
Before we head into the news, give me your snacks. Give me your snack attack recommendation.
For Monster Hunter.
Water, stay hydrated.
Jerky.
Eye drops.
Jerky.
Beef jerky. Yeah.
Slim Jim. You need that jerk. You need to protein up.
And it's got to be quick and fast because
Yeah.
you don't have much time
You need
between monster
rations.
attacks.
You need to spin your meat on, which we never do, by the way.
Yeah, everyone.
I thought I would do that more based on every trailer and like GIF and video of Monster Hunter is the guy spinning the meat.
Yeah.
On the rack.
And there's a tune that plays that's apparently really
Yeah,
good.
I've literally not done that. I did it once and I burned it. And I was like, all right, well, I give up.
Well, that's because we have the chef. There's a cat
yeah.
that makes your food for you. And
But isn't that for building your stamina back up?
I don't know,
Because
but
we use the rations for that.
sure.
You know what? We're not experts at this game, so we maybe sound very stupid
Yeah,
right now.
but
I'm
that
like, you're like,
cat-
why aren't you doing it?
That chef cat, though?
Chef Cat's great. Craig wants to be Chef Cat for next Halloween.
Yeah, it's on my list.
That's a good costume.
All right, let's talk about news.
Okay.
And then we'll come back to Monster Hunter World in part 2 sometime down the line. Okay, I've got 4 news bits for you today. Battlefield 5 is finally getting a co-op mode, which might be the only reason I play this game.
Wait, it didn't have co-op?
It had like play together, but this is going to be like co-op versus AI stuff.
Oh.
But there's not really any details yet, but they have said a co-op mode, 2-player something is coming, which I really want to play this game because I like the Battlefield series. I like the destruction. Maybe now I can convince someone to play with me if they don't want to play the multiplayer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. We'll see. But hey, it's co-op.
You know, I'm not super into the FPS life, but I would give it a
These
shot.
ones, Battlefield games are so intense. Have you played any Battlefield?
No.
They are so intense. And what's cool about it is it's intense moments created by people and the environment, not just like a story bit.
Right.
Like,
I mean, it seems pretty cool.
I have a lot of memories of like we're pinned down in this one little fountain in Battlefield 2 by snipers. Like I don't know. I like games that provide those real, in quotes, war stories.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be about a war game. This one just happens
like
to be.
how you talk about PUBG too, or how people talk about PUBG.
Or the Naked Gunman in DayZ. Like all these things, I have these stories. Yeah, the
Right,
Windy
right.
Mountain. Yeah. Orcs Must Die Unchained is shutting down. Now, we didn't play this game, but I'm sure there are people out there who did and are bummed. It was kind of like Dungeon Defenders, and I figured someday we would play this game. It's like a tower defense plus action game, and I really like that type of genre thing. So it sucks to see one go. It's shutting down in April. Like I said, I'm not personally affected, but it's always a bummer when a game gets shut down. I don't like games that get made this way with servers and shit.
It's weird.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't. The demo for Anthem is dropping early next month in February. I'm hoping to get everyone I know to get the demo, and I'm hoping, I haven't played it, so I don't know either.
I'm glad they're dropping a demo because
Yes.
I'm not super interested in this game, but I will try the demo with you. We
Yes.
both have, now that I have PS Plus, we can do the same thing.
We could do an episode on just the demo. It's one weekend. So
We could.
I would like to
That'd
do
be kind of
a
an like a
demo
little
episode.
baby episode.
And then, because maybe you'll get the experience of, actually, I don't want to play this game. Because right now, I'm at like a 7. I'm like,
I'm at like a -2.
Yeah, see? And I'm hoping this demo convinces some people to get it with me. Because I want to be Iron Man, man.
We will try it for sure. Now that I didn't know there was going to be a demo, but that's exciting.
And lastly, Monster Hunter has news. We picked the right time to start playing this game.
We really did.
It's going to be the Appreciation Fest for 1 month. January 26th through, I think, like February 22nd. There's going to be all kinds of like events happening in the game, and I guess like old events are coming back, and there'll be exclusive stuff. There's also going to be the Greatest Jagras. There's an enemy called the Great Jagras.
And Geralt, they're also launching him.
The Witcher
Yeah.
is going to come do Witcher shit in this game.
And it's so perfect. You know, it's funny because I was comparing this to The Witcher. I played The Witcher 3 and I really love that game. And there's a very similar thing of before he goes to fight a werewolf or whatever, you're talking to people, you're gathering information. What potions do I need? What do I need to do to make this very simple? It's really fun because it feels like really logical. Like, oh, that would make sense that he would go do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there's that similar vibe in this game where you're researching and you're getting, okay, we need to use this element or this weapon.
You're right.
So it's cool that they're bringing him to this game.
That's
it makes
really,
sense.
I'm excited to see how that goes because we missed, like, there was a Street Fighter thing, there was a Mega Man thing, there was the Horizon Zero Dawn thing, which apparently we have somehow because it's on the box, it's on the physical box of the game. It says like includes content from Horizon Zero Dawn. But I'm excited. There's a whole month of stuff for us to do.
Yeah, it's the perfect time for real.
So if you're out there listening to this, get it because you're right in time for the beginning of a crazy event thing. We can all play together. In fact, if you want to play with us,
yeah,
like
that's true.
join our little squad because there's
the
squads
Saves Together
and stuff.
squad. Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah,
DM
hit us
us.
up.
Do your thing. And speaking of DMing us, you got to tell us where they can do that. But before you do that,
I have another game of the week.
You got to tell us
of the
game.
2 weeks. So this game.
These are like games that we have our eye on.
Yeah,
right?
and they're very indie usually.
Yeah. We'll never mention like Anthem
and they're co-op games, obviously. Okay, so this one caught our attention because we saw a trailer and there was a fox and he was running along with a knife in his mouth. And I mean, if that doesn't get your attention, I don't know who you are or what you want because that's what I want.
I don't know who you are, or what you want.
It's called Volpine and it's an action exploration game by Clockwork Games. And they recently did a Kickstarter and they got it funded. So there's been all these trailers and it looks really just like a cutesy game, but also not cutesy. It seems very intense because, like I said, you are a fox and there's other animals you can play as. You can also play as a bear, a wolf, a rabbit, or a rhino.
All with knives in their mouths.
Different weapons. Right, weapons in their mouths. they have like, strengths and weaknesses depending on the animal.
I want to be a frog with...
There is no frog so far.
I know, but I'm just trying to think of ones I want to be. I want to be a frog with a mace.
Okay.
Like he hops around and the mace spins.
Like
Wait,
has,
is the mace the one with
jumps.
the chain and the ball? Or is that a flail?
That's a flail.
Well, I want to be a frog with a flail.
And there is online co-op. I don't think it's going to be couch co-op. Currently, it's just announced for PC and Mac consoles or computers.
Realize that.
Well, they're talking about possibility of moving on to Xbox, PS4, and Switch. So it's supposed to come out early 2019. That could be who knows. But I think you should keep your eye on it because it looks really, really fun and different and quirky, and I love that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. Okay, so where can they find us? Because they got to DM us to join our squad.
That's right. You can join the Saves Together squad over at Saves Together on Twitter. You can DM us there if you're interested. Also, you can find us on Instagram at Saves Together. And on SoundCloud is where we host our podcast, but we're on basically every major podcast network. If you don't find it somewhere, let us know. We can put it on there for you.
But if you're listening to this, then
you probably found it.
You found it.
Good job.
Nice.
Well, you never know because they
could be on YouTube.
Right.
We post to YouTube every other week. We post an episode every other week, and then the other week
the video podcast. If you're more interested in using YouTube as a list, people do this apparently.
Right. There's not video of us. It's just a graphic.
Yeah, it's a cool graphic though. You should go check it out.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yes.
And let's go play more Monster Hunter.
Yeah, let's do that.
I gotta get that Ogdodragon armor, and then I gotta catch more Leginas, and once I get the Legina thing, I can get the hat with the thing, and finally I'll be able to get the sword that has electricity, because I got the Kieran horns, but the Kieran pieces, they're pretty hard to get, but at least I have enough to get the weapon, but it won't be the next level 2 weapon, so I'm thinking that the level 2 weapon next to the level 3 weapon, it's probably not worth doing, but it's cool, because it looks...